Well, I guess we should touch on Affleck.
Mm.
Okay, so let's just talk about DC right now in general, and
I feel whenever we talk
because
about DC, we always say the same thing.
Guys, stop
so
kicking the puppy.
after
We're like, see that dead horse? I'm gonna go beat it for a bit. Just keep beating
Hey,
it.
let me join you.
so after the disaster that was so after the Trilbee. Oh yeah, that sounds like it's like Office Space. So after the disaster that was 2016's Warner Brothers, after releasing the trash of Batman v Superman, the absolute wrecking of the Killing Joke, and the absolute abomination that was Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
Behind the scenes, DC has been losing directors and left and right. Flash has gone through a couple of directors. Aquaman's looking pretty good, which is fine. There's been like so many news about what's going on with Green Lantern. Justice League is going through some apparently some tone changes. We're not getting a second movie anymore. Apparently, Flash, it was announced about last week that we were going to get a page one rewrite of the Flash, and our only hope, our only silver lining was at least
Page
we have Ben
one,
Affleck's Batman to look forward
page
to.
one rewrite means a total do-over, right?
Yeah, start
Yes,
again.
starting.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
are rewriting from page one.
And
All
here's
right.
the thing, they actually announced that The Flash was going to start filming January 2017.
For a March 2018 release date, which would have been great, but whatever. But our one hope was that Ben Affleck was going to have a Batman movie out, which sounds pretty sick. I'm so hyped. Until last week when they decided to announce that Ben Affleck was no longer going to be directing the Batman film. He's still starring in it, he's still producing it, but he's not
Yeah.
directing it anymore.
I got two things to say about this. One is there is a legit reason he gave, which is if he's acting in it and he's directing it, um, obviously you have to act and then run behind the camera and figure out everything. If he's doing that while he's wearing this really uncomfortable bat costume that he overheats in, it's going to be really difficult. 'Cause-
Bullshit.
but when you
I
come
call
on, you're
bull.
wearing the bat suit.
Nope,
You just want to
absolutely
shoot the
not.
scenes. You don't want to have to think about everything else.
He's
and-
had 3 years to tell us that he doesn't want to do that. He's had like 3 years. No, malarkey. I call
Yeah.
shenanigans.
It's the statement Ben Affleck gave was a perfect diplomatic professional one,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's completely false. It's fabricated for the most
Yes.
part. They had to
Kevin-
just appear that they were on
Because
good terms.
literally like a month ago, he said, "Yes, I'm still directing the movie. I want to talk about my movie, but I'm still directing Batman." And I believe it's a few months ago that he specifically stated that if the script was not good, he would not direct it. And now he's not directing it.
What
And
happened
Kevin,
was
Kevin Smith did say, I reckon he does want to direct it in case it sucks. He can be like, don't blame me. I didn't write it.
Precisely. I think that's he's trying to get on that lifeboat before the Titanic sinks. Is what's going on here.
And can I just
Oh.
say sorry, Trilby, you were going to say something. I cut you off.
There was news a couple of days after Ben Affleck and Warner Brothers made the announcement that Chris Terrio, who wrote Batman v Superman, had submitted a script for the Batman film. And then I feel like those two are connected. Chris Terrio submits a script, and then Ben Affleck says, "Well, if the script's not good, I'm not directing it." And then
Wasn't he
announces he's not
writing
directing
this?
it.
That's where I'm really confused there because wasn't he writing it with Jeff Johns? Is that just not happening anymore? Because there was a while
Who
ago,
knows?
like he was writing the Batman movie with Jeff Johns. He was developing the script. He was producing it. He was going to direct it. Like this was his baby for Warner Brothers. I don't understand what happened that causes this all to fall apart. Maybe it's the Live by Night situation, but
See, I don't think Live by Night is that big of a deal because it's going to lose Warner Brothers some money. But remember, the last time that Ben Affleck directed and starred in a film, it won Best Picture. He won the
Exactly,
Directors Guild of America Best Directors Award.
And I don't buy this thing of, if the script's not good, I'm not going to do it. I don't buy that either because Ben Affleck, go find a comic book that's popular and just do that. It's not that
I
hard.
thought that's what
you
was.
don't
He
have
got
to
the
worry
writer of the
about writing
comics.
it. Yeah,
He got the writers of the comics to help him develop the script. So I do believe
Right. So I don't
there's
buy that
something.
excuse either. I think what's actually happening is because we all remember from the Sad Affleck video, viral video.
All right. To
he
be
was
fair,
not
he
happy.
had just gotten divorced. He was going through a divorce.
Yeah,
at
but
the point
we all
when that
know
was
he was
happening.
also Sad Affleck because he was not happy about how Batman v Superman was received. So I think he's hedging his bets because first he pushed this solo Batman movie back. Now he's not directing it. I think he's hedging his bets because he wants to see if Justice League is going to tank or not. Because if it is going to tank, maybe he just wants to say, you know what, I'm not going to be Batman. So I think that's why he's pushing it back, so we can see how Justice League is received. Because rumour has it Justice League is also a total mess. So if it is, and he quits as Batman, that could be the end of this DC universe.
I'm just looking at the production history of the Batman film,
Oh my God,
and
Trilbee,
Chris.
you're right. Trilbee, you were right. Remember, you called this like what before Suicide Squad came out. You're like, you know what? Just reboot the whole thing. Just just reboot all of it.
Yeah.
You called it.
It makes the most sense. But I'm just looking at the production history, and July 2015, this was first announced and talked about, and it was announced that Ben Affleck would co-write the script with Jeff Johns. Chris Terrio has not been in the picture until the news broke like a week ago. Chris Terrio has had no public creative involvement in the Batman
Terrio,
film.
he wrote Justice League, and then he co-wrote. He went in and redid some of the script stuff for BVS after David S. Goyer was. I guess he was pretty much dropped from the. I don't know, but David S. Goyer was writing BVS, and then Ben Affleck brought in Chris Terrio to help fix the script some, apparently.
But it's come at terrible timing as well, because the past 2 weeks we've had 3 bits of terrible DCEU news. Like The Flash has lost its director for the 3rd time.
Yeah,
This is the third.
that was the dope.
fourth
That was the
director.
dope guy. The dope guy, right? The one that
The dope
was,
guy, yeah.
God, dope is so good.
And previously it was Seth Grahame-Smith, and previously it was Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Who dropped out to
And-
do Han Solo, which looks fun, by the way.
Yeah,
They tweeted a picture.
they've started filming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Han first shot, which was clever. Yeah.
That's very clever. And David Ayer essentially came out on I think it was on Twitter, where he essentially apologizes for Suicide Squad, and then this news comes out. This is like Ben Affleck is a Oscar caliber director. He's incredibly he's a great filmmaker. He's really reformed over the past decade. And when it comes to I don't know if I can direct and star in it, when you have that responsibility in a film, you basically have to trust most of your film with your first assistant director, your first AD, because they essentially direct the movie for you based on your criteria and your specifications when you're on camera. And I imagine Ben Affleck has got a good relationship with his first ADs if he's done Live by Night and Argo and The Town and all of that. So I don't think that's an issue at all. But I think in order to recoup the PR damage from this, Warner Brothers have got to get a director who is like a Ben Affleck equivalent in terms of their talent. But because they've driven away so many directors like Guillermo del Toro, Phil Lord, Chris Miller, Seth Grahame-Smith, Rachel McLaurin, who left Wonder Woman ages ago, and all of these, who's going to want to work with Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Who's going to want to be in that position?
Zack
Who's
Snyder
of that caliber?
Snyder announced as the director of the Batman, and everyone's just like,
Is Brett Ratner is the director?
Brett Ratner directs the Batman.
I
you know
know
what?
that Marvel had a similar issue with Patty Jenkins and Edgar Wright, but those were they made a lot more sense than this Ben Affleck thing. This seemed like it seemed like more of an amicable split, whereas this just reeks of behind the scenes issues that are coming from the ground up at Warner Brothers.
And they only lost one director, mind you, not 4 or 5. So
Yeah.
And you know what? But Warner Brothers, they brought this on themselves. Because all of this could have been avoided if they just paid attention to the fan reaction to Man of Steel, actually made some... we all knew after Man of Steel exactly what they need to do. We've been saying it ever since then. They need to lighten up.
Yeah.
They need to focus more on the comics. Doesn't have to be like Avengers, but lighten up, make it more colorful.
Ira-proof reader.
Stop trying to shove in these Zack Snyder God themes all the time. It doesn't work. Just have fun with it. But they apparently are insistent on not learning that lesson. So you know what, Warner Brothers? If this whole thing does collapse, could be the purpose of your life is to serve as an example to others. To quote one of my favorite YouTube philosophers.
That's true. The first step one probably should have been reevaluating Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
Essentially, I mean,
They rushed into it too quickly.
What they should have done was just do Man of Steel 2 and start developing a universe. You have Man of Steel 2 be your setup movie, sure, but don't forget to tell a Superman story first.
And
like
that's
you want
what
Lex Luthor
everyone
in there.
said. That's what everyone said after
Yeah.
Man of Steel. They said, can't wait for the... No one asked for Batman versus Superman. Everyone's like, can't wait for the next one. Hope we get a good Lex Luthor. Maybe they bring in Brainiac. Everybody said that. That's what everybody wanted.
Maybe we can hint at Wonder Woman or something. Maybe we can hint at that Batman exists in the universe. Maybe, and then they announce Ben Affleck, and you're like,
just Bruce Wayne, not Batman, but just Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That would have been great. But no, they had to do Batman v Superman, didn't they? And
we were all just like,
Flash,
okay,
and throw in Aquaman. Just How are we going to do it? Just put him in email attachment. Doesn't matter. Whose idea was that?
Yeah.
Come on.
I think
God.
one big issue with Warner Brothers is that they're clearly not giving the directors that they hire final cut on the film. Like Zack Snyder didn't get a choice on final cuts with Batman v Superman, which is why we've got the extended edition, and same for David Ayer. Like it seems to be like a creatively stifling studio to work with for these properties. Like Warner Brothers can do great work. They're one of the best studios out there. Like Mad Max Fury Road is like one of the latest Warner Brothers crowning achievements, where they trusted George Miller, they trusted his vision. He presumably got a final cut of that film. Yeah. Whereas with DC, they seem just so much more scattershot, and they just seem so unwilling to trust the talents that they hire and bring in.
Really? Because
I
thought with Zack Snyder they also gave him free reign, and that was the problem.
He got creative control in
having
BVS.
Free reign is a disaster.
Except in the final cut, because BVS turned out to be half an hour short of what Zack Snyder wanted. But even the Ultimate Edition isn't spectacular. It's like a 6 out of 10 film. So, that's comparing it to the 4 out of 10 that was BVS. Yeah.
God, that movie.
It's a messy time. No, that was all I had to add.
You know what I was thinking about BVS the other day? I forgot to include this in my big review of it. But like,
can we just stop hating on Batman v Superman already? The movie's fine.
Just one thing is like when Flash comes through the portal and he's like, "I've come back too far," and then he's like, "She's the key. It's Lois." If he had said Superman's mother is the key, then when he says "save Martha," it would have connected in Batman's head. He's like, "Oh my God, I have to save Superman's mom, or else he'll turn evil, and we'll get that nightmare dream sequence." That would have made so much more sense, rather than save Lois when she's not even in any real danger in that movie. Apart from when she's drowning trying to get the spear, and Batman doesn't even save her. It should have been Batman
goes and tries to save her, and then he starts drowning. Like, what is?
It's like, come on, Batman! You were supposed to look after Lois Lane. She's the key, and Superman has to save her yet again.
I think what was happening in that Flash sequence when he visits Bruce Wayne in the Batcave, I think what was happening was that Ezra Miller actually went back in time, saw Ben Affleck in his office, and was like, "Get out of the Batman! It's not gonna work."
I was gonna say, it's like hizzy. Rotten Tomatoes.
12% on Rotten Tomatoes. Razzie nominations. Which, actually, Ben Affleck has been nominated for a Razzie for Worst Actor for Batman v Superman, which I don't think is fair. That's more like a guilty by association nomination. I don't think that's fair.
He was the
Give
best
it to
part
Jesse
of the movie.
Eisenberg, please. Give it to Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg should get the Razzie.
Yeah, or Jared Leto, who is also nominated.
Is he good? God, that.
But you
At
know,
least I think he is.
I do hope Henry Cavill gets some other roles in some other movies, because he could be a really great Superman. He just never got the chance to be it yet. And we'll have to see in Justice League.
If you guys have ever seen that.
What a waste of what could have been a fantastic Superman. Just, ugh.
Yeah. Every time I'm sad, I watch that first flight sequence from Man of Steel when he first learns to fly. And that scene always gets me so excited for what could have been.
Yeah,
because
that's the one time he smiles.
It's so joyful and like exciting. It still has that Zack Snyder style to it of, the zooms and the intense music and the drums, but he's like smiling and it's hopeful, and the Hans Zimmer score is incredible and it looks really good too. I just whatever.
I was thinking
Man of Steel. Sorry, Choba, but do you know Man of Steel ends on a smile? The final shot of Man of Steel is Superman smiling because he goes and talks to Lois, and they both tell each other. The last scene of Man of Steel, and it ends on a smile. Like, what happened to that?
Yeah,
it ends with him smiling,
and it ends with a really cool line where instead of saying "Welcome to the Daily Planet," she's like, "Welcome to the planet," like "Welcome to Earth."
And
that's a great line. See, it could have been saved after that. The franchise could have been saved after that, but see, we're already talking like it's over.
Trilbee.